Hello, this is Starry Ari's ASMR. I am Ari, and I recently took a trip to Leavenworth, Washington. So I put together some pictures and video clips from my trip to show you. I'm going to go through them and talk about our trip, some of the fun things we did, and of course a few cute videos of my dog Edna. So we stayed at a vacation rental just outside of town. Our first afternoon was just arriving at the house and getting settled in. You can see that we had tons of snow to play in. We had actually been following the weather report a few weeks before the trip, and we were kind of sad because it didn't look like we would have any snow during the trip. And we completely forgot to account for the fact that in these mountain towns, even with weeks of sunshine, the snow does not melt like what we are used to. So there were still feet of snow around the house. Edna certainly enjoyed sniffing around in it, though she is a little older, so she couldn't quite prance around as much as she would have liked. The snow was really deep and powdery in some areas, so we kept just falling right through it when we were walking around. And though I think that she was probably doing better walking on the snow than we were. This was the little sledding hill that we had in the yard, and the outside of the house was so stinking cute with the string lights at night. So you're looking at the back or the side of the house right now with a patio and deck that usually just opens out into the yard, but was blocked by this big pile of snow. But we did get some good use out of it. Some of my family also came with, so we were sharing the house and we all had a fun time. The house had a cozy wood stove inside, so for the rest of the night we just made dinner, played some card games, and enjoyed the fire. We really loved having the wood stove during our stay. It was just really nice and cozy. So this was our view the next morning coming out of the house for Edna's early walk. Thankfully, the house was on a pretty quiet road, and all of the roads around the area were really nicely plowed and cleared. I think because the weather had been so nice for a few weeks. But you can still see the large piles of snow off the side of the road. The scenery was so pretty, and I loved the beautiful tall evergreens with the snow. We also had this coffee house just a short walk from the house and across the highway. So we wanted to walk over to get a quick breakfast before heading into town. They had a lovely back patio space with beautiful lights and a huge fireplace, which wasn't quite going yet when we got there, but the whole area was still really cute. This was the view of the hills back across the highway from the coffee shop. Just so pretty. Then my husband and I went into town to explore the cute downtown area. My parents stayed behind at the house to watch Edna. They had also been to Leavenworth before, but this was the first time for me and my husband. The town is, of course, surrounded by the beautiful mountains, and we thought it was so funny to have this gorgeous view just from the parking lot that we had found. Now, we already knew that it was generally considered quite kitschy, but we still thought it was cute to walk around and see the fun Bavarian themed aesthetic. They sometimes have fun events set up downtown, and while we were there, they had these really talented ice carvers. I didn't get a great picture, but this person was carving a jumping fish. It was really fun being able to walk by later on and see how much progress they had made on the carving. There are also horse-drawn carriages that offer a quick little tour of the downtown area, and we did end up deciding to do that, but I apparently enjoyed myself too much and forgot to take any video or pictures from our ride. We went into a lot of the shops, and one of them, called Kris Kringle, is a Christmas themed shop that had lots of Christmas decorations and huge displays of Christmas Village miniatures. I thought this little Crayola shop was cute. Some of the little figures. And they had a little like gingerbread village. It was a multi-story shop, and in between the first and second floor, they had this hanging display of Santa in his sleigh with his bag of toys. And then we went to the Nutcracker Museum. We had a fun time looking at all of the nutcrackers. It was kind of cool to see some of the really antique nutcrackers, or at least see them, through the centuries and how they evolved and how they came into this kind of classic nutcracker design that we all recognize now. But there are a lot of nutcrackers at the museum, and they had this really, really tall, like life-size nutcracker that we took pictures with. But my husband and I do really love history, and I think that we probably would have enjoyed the history museum a little bit more. We could have done that one too, but for some reason we just decided to do the Nutcracker one. We wanted to go to Leavenworth and see the really pretty holiday decor and the lights, but we also wanted to try and avoid the crowds as much as possible. I imagine it was a bit less crowded than it would have been before Christmas, but it was still pretty crowded everywhere we went. We also found that a lot of restaurants did require reservations ahead of time, and I wish we would have thought about that. But we were still able to find some good places and some good food. The town is a bit cheesy, but it was still fun for a day, and everything is just so beautifully set against the mountains. And we did really enjoy getting to see the holiday lights and displays. We learned while we were there that Leavenworth's Bavarian theme came about as a way to create a tourist destination to save the dwindling logging town from becoming a ghost town. So the town leaders decided to renovate the downtown area into the theme we know today, as they felt that the mountain backdrops were similar to the Bavarian Alps. after dark, seeing all of the holiday lights. All of the hotels and businesses take on the theme too and have themed business signs, which I thought was quite interesting because you're never really pulled out of the aesthetic. I didn't get as many pictures and videos from our day as I could have, but we were just enjoying ourselves. It had been a very beautiful sunny day, but it was very cold, so we were quite happy to be back in the warm car and headed back to the house for the warm and cozy fire. The next morning, we walked Edna back over to the coffee house so that we could get drinks and she could play in the snow. The coffee house was also very pet friendly and everyone loved seeing Edna. Something I found really funny was that she kept shoving her nose down into the holes in the snow. I don't know why, but she was like obsessed with it. So this is her sniffing around in the backyard of the coffee house while my husband was getting her drinks. Later we went to see the reindeer at the Leavenworth reindeer farm. I don't think I had ever seen a reindeer before, but they were so beautiful. The farm gives a little presentation before the tour with some safety tips, but then we all got to just go right inside the enclosure and feed them. They were so cute and their little snouts were so soft and fuzzy. They would kind of just snuffle and hoover up the food bits in our hands. Some of them were pretty persistent about getting more food, but not all of them liked to be pet, so the handlers were doing a really great job pointing out the ones that enjoyed pets so that everyone, including the reindeer, stayed comfortable and safe. We learned that female reindeer also grow antlers, and this beautiful girl here was named Elsa. She was very chill and kind of just laid around for everyone to take pictures with her. The farm also had other animals like horses and chickens, and we noticed one chicken had somehow made its way into the reindeer enclosure with us. Their antlers were just absolutely magnificent. Just gorgeous animals. Their feet were really interesting shapes too. I would definitely recommend doing this if you're ever in Leavenworth. It was just really, really amazing to interact with the animals and learn a bit about them. After seeing the reindeer, we stopped by the farm concession stand, and this area had these really cute little dome tents that looked like igloos with picnic tables inside, and they did help shield us from the cold wind. But they also had a few fire pits placed around too. They also had this little enclosure with two really cute bunnies that were all cuddled up. They had a warm little bunny house that they had been in earlier, but they decided to come outside for a bit, so I was able to snap these cute pictures. The farm also had this really pretty sleigh, and I think I remember seeing that they do host Santa visits before Christmas time. So I think that this would have made for some really cute photo ops. And this sign was inside the farm shop, and it showed just some of the movies and shows that the reindeer farm had been featured in. After the reindeer farm, we decided to pick up some stuff at the Safeway to make dinner back at the house. And I thought that the themed signs were really fun, so I took a picture of this. The rest of the night we just hung out at the house, enjoyed using the hot tub, and watched a movie by the fire. This picture was from inside the house looking out at the yard on our last morning there. It was such a beautiful day and the view was just gorgeous. Edna always knows something's up when we pack the car. And even though I think she had a really fun time in the snow, she was still so excited to get to go for a ride again. And this funny picture was her on her way back home. I think it's safe to say that we all had a fun trip, but it's always nice heading back home again. I hope that you enjoyed seeing some pictures and videos from my trip. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a